Now that we've looked at some of the theory, let's try setting up a simple alert. One thing to note is that alerting is no longer included in the free version of Splunk. It requires a Splunk Enterprise license. We will still be able to go through it under our free trial license. To create an alert, we'll start from the Search and Reporting app. Let's use source type access combined and status equals 404. So we're going to alert on file not found errors. Let's start our search. And to create a new alert from this search, we'll go up to Save As and Alert. Let's call our alert Critical 404s. We can create a description here. We can set some permissions. And there are some options here of alert type. You can schedule this so that it will check every week at a certain time to see if this threshold that we're going to create has been crossed. I don't think that makes sense for this alert, so let's go to real time instead. This expires parameter, this sets how long the alert will appear in our alerts list, so it's sort of the lifetime of the alert. We can leave it at 24 hours. And for alert conditions, this is an important one, especially in this case. We don't want to alert on every single 404 error. Instead, we want to narrow it down. In this case, we'd probably say number of results. So if the number of results is greater than, say, 20 in 1 minute, that might be time to trigger this alert. And we also want to make sure we say to trigger it once when it crosses that threshold. If we say for each result, it will keep firing these alerts for every single 404. And we can also say throttle here. And this will let you suppress the alert for a period of time after it initially triggers. I think this is a good idea for something like this. At least a minute is probably fine. And the last thing we'll do here is add some actions. First, we want to make sure we say add to triggered alerts. And this will help it show up within the Splunk UI. And the other thing we can do for something like this, you might want to send an email. I don't actually have an email server configured on my Splunk instance, so I'll just say send this to name@company.com. But you can see a bit how this would work if you had it all set up. In the subject line here, you'll notice it has Splunk alert and then $name $. This is one of the tokens that you can use within your alerts. This lets you include data from the alert itself into your triggered actions. So in this case, we can actually send the name of this alert into our email. And there's a lot more you can include with tokens here. If you click this link, there's the documentation right here about how that would work. And let's scroll down here to the bottom. We can also include some other details in the alerts, such as attaching a PDF or a CSV, or just inline results of our alert. And before we save this, let's go back and talk about the scheduled alerts. You might be wondering, what is the difference between a scheduled alert and a report? The main thing is that a scheduled alert will only fire if the conditions are met, whereas a report will happen every time it's scheduled. This is something that you could use to reduce the noise level and amplify the signal in your reporting. For example, if your VP of engineering only cared about a certain report when the CPU load was especially high, you can tailor the results to only trigger when that happens. On the other hand, a developer might want to see the same report every week before a sprint meeting. Now that we have all our settings set, let's save this report. Here you can see there's a warning that this alert will no longer work after our enterprise trial expires. That's because alerts are no longer a free feature. Let's click on View Alert before we move on. And here's our alert.